Good morning. Good morning. I hope you are doing well. All right, let's go live. So bear with me a moment as I go live places. Okay, wait a minute. Stop the volume on that one. All right, so now let me pull this up on my phone. Good morning, Angie. Good morning. Great to see you here. I'm trying to get everything populating like it's supposed to. Hold on. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Is that a sunshine you got there with the good morning? So I'm hoping it's a good day for you. I'll just share this morning. One of the things I talk about a lot is appreciating things, right? Being grateful you woke up and that kind of stuff, right? Which I always am. But so far it is. Yay. Beautiful, Angie. And so this morning, we've been having some rain, and I've been very fortunate recently as I'm taking the dog out to go for his potty walk and everything, that a few times it's been, kind of misting where I needed a jacket and everything, but the torrential rain was not happening. And this morning when I got up, I could hear it just pouring, and I thought, oh, what's the temperature? Let me make sure I bundled up under this raincoat and all this stuff. And I got the dog's raincoat on him, and he's quite cute in a little raincoat. And I go out walking, and I'm thinking about my feet getting wet, and I'm thinking all these things. And all of a sudden I realize it's not a torrential rain anymore. It wasn't from the moment I walked outside. So then I went back into that space of, okay, I can actually be exceptionally grateful that the times that I've been taking the dog out have not been these all these amazing rains, right? Good morning, Carrie. And so it brought me into this reminder of appreciating everything, right? So I love that the rain is happening because Lord knows the ground needs it. But the beauty is that it will quiet down just enough that I can go without the rain boots and without getting totally drenched. And even though I have on a raincoat, your legs are exposed, my pants will get wet and everything. So I haven't had any of that. And so I just wanted to share that I am internally grateful for God's gift of quieting the rain just enough that when I go take the dog for a walk, and I'd like to think he does it just for me, but I would say probably, it's for others as well. But I'm gonna own that I appreciate that God had put his hand out and said, "Oh, let's quiet the rain down just a little bit so she can take that little puppy for a walk." All right, so I am going to go ahead and jump in with our affirmation for today. And Carrie, while I'm thinking about it, have you been hearing from Wendy? I know she's been popping in on the replays, but like my sister is on a cruise right now, and she keeps sending me pictures of different places that she's at. So it's really cool. All right. So our affirmation for today is, I am here to make an impact, not just take up space. I choose to show up, speak up, and step fully into my purpose. And we've been talking a lot about these things recently because it's something that's dear to me. There was so many times in my life that I was so worried that I wasn't going to make a difference in the world, and I would not be remembered. I would be forgotten, right? And thank you, Angie. And the thing is that I've come to realize that I don't have to make this impact to where everybody in the world knows my name. But if I make an impact on the people around me and the people that I meet through social media, through being online, that's beautiful, right? Because then I'm not just taking up space, because many, many times in my life, I felt like I was. I was just taking up space. One person is all it takes. Yes, Angie, beautiful. Yeah. And like I've talked before, there's that you don't know, you don't even see the ripples as they're happening, right? And so one of the things that I was trying to explain it to someone, and the only thing that I could come up with was, and this is going to show my age, as if you don't know it already. I say it all the time. But there was a commercial many, many, many years ago, and it was about um, um, STDs, or what do they call them now? Um, I don't know. But anyway, socially transmitted diseases, right? And are sexually transmitted, not socially, sexually transmitted diseases. Let's get our facts straight, right? But they would say I think it was advertising condoms, I think, if I remember correctly. And so they would show this loving couple together and everything, and they're trying to decide if they want to get a condom or not. And then they start popping up each person's past relationships. And so then over it's like there's like a couple pop up, and then suddenly there's more of them pop up, because not only is it the last person that they had relations with, but it's the one that they had relations with and they had relations with. So it's like it shows this ripple out of the how many people are part of what you're doing, right? No, this sounds terrible. But anyway, it's kind of the same thing in a better way, right? That we touch somebody with our words, with our heart, and then they in turn talk to someone else. They in turn talk to someone else, and it becomes this massive visual of just pictures everywhere. So wouldn't it be cool if at some point you got this visual of all these people from all over the world that you have touched just because you touched that one, right? Because you didn't just take up space. You showed up, you spoke up, and you just stepped into your purpose. Well, Carrie, we're going to have to talk to Wendy. She's going to have to start reaching out more, I think, and sharing some of those photos. Of course, she's on such a long cruise that you probably don't want to get photos of everything she's doing, right? You will be inundated with photos. But yeah, so the thing is that I know I'm here for an impact, right? But it took me a long time to get to a place where it wasn't, that's not going to phrase it right. So hold on a second. Been a hairstylist for many, many years, right? And I touch those people physically with my hands, but I also touch them mentally, because I was a coach way before I became a coach, because people would always come in and tell me their problems or tell me something that was going on. And they knew I was all the time learning something new. So they'd ask me questions. And sometimes it was about health. Sometimes it was about relationships. It was about all kinds of things, right? And so I was always touching those people. But for whatever reason, it just felt like it's just what you do, right? I grew up in a hairstyling family. That's what you did. You just talked to the people, you helped them feel better about their hair, and then they would talk to you about things and you would help them. And it just felt like it was just normal. There was no big deal about it. It didn't feel like I was making an impact. It was just I met with that one person, I helped them, and then I moved to the next one. It took me a long time to start seeing that even that was making an impact that I wasn't even aware of. So maybe it's not always your big coaching arena, your big Facebook group. It can just be somebody that you've spoken to that you gave them a different perspective. It could be someone that you've spoken to and you said, "Oh, yeah, I understand. Man, that had to be hard." I was always under the impression for such a long time that I wasn't making an impact if it wasn't a big blast of impact. But we make impact all the time. And just like I say, let's be grateful and appreciative that we opened our eyes. And I'm appreciative that the rain's not being torrential rains when I take the dog for a walk. But let's also really look at being grateful that we can make impacts with people all the time. Restoring hope. Yes, yes. And so that ripple that we create, it can be just mind-blowing if we saw all the little levels, right? But we don't. And that's beautiful too. Because what is it that, and I'm not really good at quoting the Bible because I've read it through completely once. And that was last year, right? The thing is that I know bits and pieces, but I know one of the things that is that don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. So it's and the interpretation of that is don't help people. At least that's my interpretation from the things that I've heard. And so if that's not right, you definitely let me know. But it's like, help people and do things to make the world a better place without expecting anything in return. You're not looking for the pat on the back. You're not looking for a statue being built for yourself. You're not looking for a party, a celebration. You're just wanting to make an impact, not take up space. So you show up, you speak up, and you step fully into that purpose because you're aware and you're okay with, I don't see where all this goes. Because I know in my heart that I'm doing the thing that lights me up and it helps others. And that's enough. Now, that's not to say that you don't expect at some point to be paid for your amazing work. Because we had our first Rewrite Your Money Story session last night for the program. And you can still get in if you're looking to, because we've just had that first session and we've got another one coming up on Saturday. So let me know if you want to have the information. You can just put story in the comments and I will definitely shoot that to you. The thing is that now all of a sudden I lost track of why was I telling you that? All right. Well, it'll come to me. Hopefully it'll come to me before I get off here. Oh gosh, I don't remember what I was going to tell you. I should take notes as I'm thinking about things, right? Isn't that crazy? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share the journal prompt now that I've done made that snafu, right? Hold on a second. Oops. Give me a second. I'm trying to make sure this all. Okay, let's see. All right, everything but one word showed up, so we're good. So your journal prompt for today is, how can I be more intentional about the impact I want to create? How can I be more intentional about the impact I want to create? And what is one way I can stand out today by sharing my voice, my gifts, or my message? Now, I know, Carrie, you're really working right now with um, mentoring designers. Am I remembering that correctly? You have a Facebook group. So just for you, since you're right there on Facebook and I can see you, is there something that you can think of that would help you be more intentional about the impact that you want to create? Or do you feel like you're spot on with that? And then what is one way I can stand out today by sharing my voice, my gifts, or my message? So that's for all of us, right? So Angie, I'm not sure whether you're a coach or anything like that. So how can you be more intentional about the impact that you want to create today? What is one way you can stand out today by sharing your voice, your gifts, or your message? Now, it doesn't even have to be a business, right? It could just be an impact that you want to make in the world. But maybe it's you just want to be kind to people. Maybe it's that when people see you, you want them to feel energized and uplifted in their world. So what is the impact that you want to create? Own your presence, lead with purpose, and make today count. We only have right now. We don't know what the future brings. If we'll still be here, right? I'm bringing a couple of items that I've regifted as a thank you to a coworker. I always loved finding the perfect gift to make someone happy. Oh, I love that, Angie. I love that. That's beautiful. Thrifted, not regretted. Did I? Oh, um, thrifted. Okay. Beautiful. Yeah. I love that. And I'll be honest, I love going to the thrift store. I love it is like a treasure trove because the things that I donate to the thrift stores and all that stuff, to the different causes and everything, most of that is really good stuff. It's just like I said about the top yesterday. It was like it's still a beautiful, gorgeous top, but it's in my donation box now. So, do you have an eBay store, Angie? I have one. And I used to go to the thrift store and buy things to sell in my eBay store. I'm just not actively doing it now, or I would take some of these items and just put them in my eBay store. But if you don't, you should think about that because that can be so fun and amazing. And there are so many tutorials that you can get. I want to be a reseller, but I have a hard time following through. Yes, I do have eBay store. Okay. All right. Well, I would say if you want to be a reseller and you have a hard time with following through, maybe you haven't dug deep enough into why you want to do it and finding something that makes it feel fun and then mark time on your calendar every day, 30 minutes and that are an hour. I'm going to work on that. And in the beginning, maybe it's hard to find that kind of time. So maybe just say for 15 minutes, I'm going to be listing things or boosting things, doing things on your eBay store to get everything flowing. And the more you post or you do on eBay, because one of the reasons I'm always surprised now when I sell something, because I don't do anything with it anymore. It has like a list of them that I have boosted in the past and they're still being boosted. So every now and then somebody buys something and it's like, well, I got some money this morning. That was really cool. And I just ship it out and then I'm good. And so when I was doing it continuously, where I worked on it every single day, putting things in, describing things, I would do something in there every day. Even if I wasn't putting a new item in there, I would tweak something so that it would boost the people seeing it, right? And I sold quite a bit. to the extent that people, my family and some of my friends were reaching out and saying, could you put this on your eBay store for me? And I'd say, sure, I want 50%. Okay. And so I was doing it for other people too. And whatever we got, I got 50% of it because I was the one putting all the effort in, even though it wasn't my item. Right. And so you never know. I did pretty good with that. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I should start playing with it a little bit more. You never know, right? So own your presence, lead with purpose, and make today count, right? Because today does count. We don't know where everything is leading. We don't know about tomorrow. We only know about this moment. And make it count. And it's interesting. I just want to. The thing is that as you get older, that time is even more precious because when you're 20, you figure you're going to live till you're like 80, 90, right? You got a lot of time to play with, provided you live that long, right? But when you get to 65 and you think if you live to 80, that's a lot less time there than there was before. And it makes every moment much more precious. So I don't like wasting what feels like wasting time with certain things, right? I'd rather pay somebody to do these things. And so my goal is to make enough money that anything that I don't want to do, I just pay somebody. Because I don't want to spend my precious time doing things that are just tedious things to me. Right. I used to have a goal that I would hire somebody to help me with some of my marketing and everything. So I have Sue. She and I are actually partners in the Mining Your Acres of Diamonds and the Rewrite Your Money Story program. And she's also the person that handles all my emails for me. And when I have something that comes up and I want to promote it, I just message her and say, here's what I want. And she makes it happen. I don't have to do all that anymore. And it's amazing, right? So one of my next goals is to hire someone to come and clean my house. I don't want it just once a month. I'd like to have it a couple of times a month, right? Every other week, somebody come in my house and clean it from top to bottom. And I don't have to do it. Because what happens to me a lot of times, and I don't know how it happens to you, but I used to have a cleaning business many years ago, and I cleaned houses for a living. That was one of my jobs. I did several jobs, right? I was a hairstylist and a house cleaner. And then I've had a place where all I did was clean houses, and I had a business and people that I had to work with to get them to do the job correctly. And it got to where it was just so taxing. I hated it, right? I would end up going in and having to work when I didn't want to be working because somebody didn't show up. And it was just, I hated cleaning people's houses. I loved the people, but I hated cleaning houses. So now it's like when I want somebody to clean mine, it'll help them have money because I did it because I needed money, right? And it was, it wasn't easy, but it was quick. So I could just say, okay, I'll come clean your house. This is how much it is. I would go and spend the time cleaning it, and then I would walk away with a paycheck. And it was perfect for me at the time. But now it's like, I don't want to spend my time cleaning my house. I'd rather be doing something like this. I would rather be doing hypnosis, creating programs, doing all the stuff. So that's my next goal, is to have someone that just comes in and does the job that I want. And so I may not be a good a good person for them to work for because I've done it so much that I know some of the things I want to make sure that they do, right? And so way too much information. You didn't need all that, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to go back to, wait a minute, where is the affirmation? All right, I'm going to go back to the affirmation. I am here to make an impact, not just take up space. And remember, anything that comes after the words I am have so much power. So utilize this today. Your I am statement is I am here to make an impact, not just take up space. I choose to show up, speak up, and step fully into my purpose. Give it some feeling. Say it with conviction. It doesn't mean you're having to scream it to the earth. You're not screaming to the gods and screaming to the sky. You're not doing it with a volume. You're doing it with feeling. I hope that makes sense. Let's feel this statement and really make it yours. I am here to make an impact, not just take up space. I choose to show up, speak up, and step fully into my purpose. I choose. Choose is a powerful word. So put that on your index card, the screensaver on your phone, your sticky notes. Put it somewhere that today you are reminded that you're here to make an impact. And then the journal prompt. How can I be more intentional about the impact I want to create? And Angie, you've got great idea there. So I love it. I love it. What is one way I can stand out today by sharing my voice, sharing my gifts, or sharing my message? And you may come up with one for each of those. You may come up with more than one. Write it down. Just write. Own your presence. Lead with purpose and make today count. Make today count. You're important. What you say is important. Your presence in the world is important. So, as I always say, get out your notebook or your journal, put the date, the affirmation in the journal prompt, and spend 10 to 15 minutes just in complete silence, just quieting all the chatter in your mind, connecting with your inner guidance, your God voice, and just breathe, focus on your breath. And when the timer goes off, you just pick up your pen, your pencil, and you just write whatever shows up. Just write. How can I be more intentional about the impact I want to create? Whew. Write and write and write, whatever. No critiquing, no judgment, just write. And then, what is one way I can stand out today? Today, by sharing my voice, my gifts, my message. And just write it out. Get really deep into your inner knowing, your inner guidance, your God voice. Most of the time, the reason we have a hard time doing this stuff is because we've got so much chatter going on in our mind that we cannot hear our inner guidance and our God voice. That's why I ask you to take the 10 to 15 minutes in silence prior to doing your journaling. And it makes a difference. It really does. Own your presence, lead with purpose, and make today count, because you count. All right. So it's time for me to pop off here, and I have enjoyed this immensely. The thing is I will be honest, this morning when I woke up, I had a bit of a headache. I was feeling a little nasally with some sinus issues, and I thought, oh, and I was like, okay, let me get into a place where this feels good. And I started to thinking about you guys and the impact that I want to create. And the more I thought about that, and you guys being here, the better I felt. And so sometimes all we need to do to feel better is start being intentional about our impact. I just wanted to share that with you. All right. So you have a blessed day filled with your voice creating impact, however that looks to you. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. What is today? Yeah, 9 a.m. Eastern. And I will see you then. Mwah. Love you guys.